What are your first thoughts, Kelsey?
Well, actually, before we go into first thoughts, should we explain what brand new is for anyone that's not familiar with the site, perhaps?
Very good spot. So brand new is one of my favorite places to look at sort of the most up-to-date news on logos, really. Logos, packaging design, they don't sort of venture too far away from that, which is lovely because it's nice and specific.
Nice and focused. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's an awesome place. They've got their own podcast as well. I can't say I've listened to it
sort
too
of a
much.
Community-built blog sort of thing? Is that how it started off, where it was people sort of spotting different logos in the wild?
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's like one main guy. I think his name's Armin. He posts a lot of the various logos, but I'm not sure if it's, I mean, now it is definitely community sourced. Like you can go in and add news, and Armin adds his own news, and you'll see sometimes where he sort of thought, oh, they've changed the logo, but realized, I mean, foreshadowing us talking about Häagen-Dazs's rebrand. As it turns out, Häagen-Dazs was using their new logo in other geographies, but not in the US until recently. So, you know, it's sort of somewhat community sourced, which is nice. And the comment section's full of really good comments, advice, and feedback and reviews from quite experienced people as well. So even if you're a graphic design student or learning logos and brand design, it's a fantastic place and a fantastic resource. But is that how you would describe brand new? Does that cover all the positives in your eyes?
Yeah, I'd say so. And I mean, the only other thing is, for me, I use a free version, so I don't get all of the information at the bottom, but I think it's only like $2 a month or something if you do want to see that extra detail and really like delve into all that information.
Yeah, because there's different, like Armin goes into his thoughts and really, I guess, extrapolates on just that simple sort of what starts as a logo or redesign. But like Kelsey mentioned, I think it's a few dollars. I do have a membership. I've been telling you, Kelsey, that I'll get you a membership for a little while. We might have to organize that soon so that you don't have to look at the, you know, just the images.
We'll get there at some point. It's kind of fun. I like make up my own story behind it when I look at them. So it's fun.
Well, jumping into it, we've had this on the screen for a little while now. It's the Chandon. I mean, it's a complete logo redesign, I would say, or you know, I'm design. Depending on who you're talking to, they've gone for just the words Chandon.
Yeah, I think my first comment when I saw it was yesterday or something, was it just makes me think of Chanel. It seems like the same font, the same thickness, and obviously it starts with that CH. So I'm not sort of sure. I mean, it's in the same area, I suppose, of sort of being like luxury and fancy, so that works for them, but unsure. It seems like they're kind of just copying the same kind of word mark.
Saying that though, I mean, a lot of higher end luxury, though I guess Chandon, I wouldn't necessarily call Chandon a luxury brand, but they're part of Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, so I guess they are a high end beverage. So a lot of them do. I mean, this is somewhat reminiscent of the Louis Vuitton, like the word mark for Louis Vuitton as well. So not a huge departure in that sense.
That's true. I'm kind of sad they got rid of that star, though. I'm liking that star.
Well, this is one of those logos, I think, that they could have done a refresh, maybe even pulled out that, like, that the star and the sort of vague C shape with the tail of the star. They could have very easily pulled it aside, you know, expanded or enlarged those elements a little bit to make the overall usefulness of it on sort of newer applications a bit more viable, because I think that would be a big reason. Like, if you asked me for what the Chandon icon used to be, I wouldn't be able to point it out because it's a bit, I don't know, it is very minimal, but it is a bit extra with sort of the shading and the shadowing. So I can see why they'd want to move away from it, but not so far away. Plus, I mean, you could almost just get rid of the graphic details and keep that Chandon word mark, maybe thicken it a little bit, but you could have almost even done that, no?
Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting to see the application of the old logo versus the new one on the wine bottles. Have you seen any versions of those?
I haven't seen the old version.
So they're going the sideways approach on that one.
Going further down, yeah. And then they've changed the star here as well from what used to be a 5-pointed star with a sort of one of the points a bit sort of extruded.
Shooting star kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a shooting star vibe. But now they've gone to a 7-pointed star that, I don't know, looks like every other star.
Where does Chandon come from? What's the actual country it's based in?
Good question. Trying to just reading.
A lot of countries in that.
They have wineries everywhere, but I mean, I assume France, but I might be wrong. Combined traditional French techniques. Not sure. I guess it goes to show we're not really Chandon drinkers and consumers.
No. I was just looking at that 7-point star though, thinking maybe this is a very Australian thing to think, but like Southern Cross star related or something, but
I don't think it's
obviously not an Australian brand, so like that doesn't fit.
I'm 99% sure it's not Australian, but I might be wrong.
No.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Moving further down, they have some interesting elements. Obviously, I mean, we're not reading necessarily into their reasoning around this, but it's not immediately obvious. Okay, apparently it's map visualizations. And now at a high level, it's not making me connect, map visualizations and alcohol, but...
I wonder why they're going the map visualizations. I can't even speak. Like, it would make sense, I think, if you had an alcohol brand that had so many variations and, like, different flavors that were, if they made, like, tequila and they made vodka or something, and you sort of lean into their traditional locations for those drinks, but it's, it's all sparkling, which
it's not
I feel
that
like everyone associates
diversified.
with, like, France, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But
it's, I don't know either. It's probably something that we could read into, but looking at, you did mention looking at the, old logo application on the bottle. This is what it used to look like. I mean, pretty classic. Nothing necessarily too exciting. I've definitely seen more interesting bottles, alcoholic beverage bottles. Here we go, side by side. It does look a little bit better, and I think they're using one of the map visualizations there in the background as well.
That shape. Not that you'd look at it and go, that's a map visualization.
Well, it's very high level, isn't it?
Yeah, that old one definitely looks dated compared to the new one. But then, I mean, I think actually they've done it quite well. I was going to say that you do risk losing that sort of traditional, old, fancy kind of vibe when you do a brand refresh like this, but I think they've done it quite well to like keep that, not super premium, but like premium enough that you're not just going to pick it up on a regular Saturday kind of thing. It's sort of special events and all of that. I think they've still kept
definitely
that vibe around the bottle, which is good.
It is good, but then there's that star. I must say I do prefer the old star. I wish they'd kept that. And then Chandon
new one's
up
growing
the
on
side.
me.
It's a star though. It doesn't really leave a lot of room for standing out in the alcohol bottle market, or the alcohol market is very crowded.
That's true.
And then that sideways. I guess the benefit of having the logo sideways is that it's much larger now. Though, I mean, going further down, I think this application of, a very, very low contrast color palette, I would call it, is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is it like the gold to pink?
Yeah, or it's just it's consistently pink, like it's
muted?
very muted. Yeah, that's probably how I'd describe it. But again, I guess, Chandon, I don't know the market, but I would assume they're not necessarily competing against many others.
I have to say that pink is a very millennial pink, which is, for somebody that's right in that demographic, very
That's
nice
probably
to
what
look
they're
at.
going for. The bottle in the middle here is what stands out to be the most. I wish more of the applications are like this, where the name's just popping and so is that star. I think it looks very high-end.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the fancy end of what you're looking at. But, I mean, I would still go the pink one, personally. So they've done their
Well, there you
research
go.
well, I think.
Yeah, they're sort of hitting that demographic. Here's some more up-close imagery for those who are watching the video. And then...
I see what they've done.
Yeah.
When you pour it, it looks like it's, well, you can actually read it.
Yeah, and it's much
Nice.
bigger. That is...
Actually, I think Coca-Cola and like some other brands do a very similar thing, don't they? Where Coke
Probably.
has it, I think, going up
Yes,
the can, so that when
yes.
you're drinking it, it's...
Of course. Well, overall, I mean, it is another logo that we've lost to the sans serif simplified world that we're increasingly going into.
Yeah. I think it definitely comes down to how they apply it as well. Like, in first glance, when you just see Chandon in black and that's it, it's just like, well, what's the point? But seeing it in application and how they've used it on the bottles, I don't mind. Still confused with the geographic map.
visuals.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you look at this, like what we're looking at the moment is an example of a billboard, like transit railway billboard, and to me, it looks a bit same. Doesn't necessarily...
I feel like I just forget the brand as soon as I walk away. I just be like, oh, what was the brand? Like, I kind of remember some colours and stuff, but the brand
But
itself,
not really. Yeah, it's
I
quite
wouldn't
muted.
recall.
And, like, okay, I see someone really happy. They've hit, a tattooed person. They've hit the multicultural sort of diversity angle. But then the Chandon bottle in these images are really quite small. Maybe they're so well known and their market is, so tight, and everyone's aware of, every Chandon buyer is already aware of Chandon and already buying Chandon. Maybe, but yeah, it's okay, I would say. And then interesting. There's some interesting comments as we mentioned before. You can check out the brand new comments as well into some other opinions. But I don't know. What would you rate it if you had to rate this as a rebrand? As a rebrand and then as a new logo. How would you, or a new brand? How would you sort of rate them?
I feel like it's a bit of a tough one, because looking at all of the marketing material they had and the imagery they were using, it looks quite young and fun, which makes me think that they're trying to shift from that captured audience that you said they've probably already got, which I imagine is a much older demographic, and maybe they're really trying to get that younger demographic who would respond to something simple like this versus that older, almost like 90s kind of design style. So I feel like if they're going for that younger, maybe even younger than like millennial, I'd probably say like, I can't even rate it, 7 out of 10 maybe. They haven't had to do too much, but like, you don't have to do too much sometimes, as long as you get the supporting marketing right and the supporting branding right. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see whether you sort of see them more in liquor stores and things, or if they sort of die out a little bit. Not that they die out, but
Yeah, if they stay a bit more static than perhaps they would have wanted to be. 7 out of 10. I mean, I'd probably go like 6. That's to say that it's not bad. So it's not. I'm not going to sit in the middle. But if it's okay. It's a little bit better than okay maybe, but nothing too interesting or exciting there. Very much the classic rebrand that we've seen of established brands these days, where they're going to that sans serif, where they're going to something a bit more hip and vibrant and millennial, though at least we didn't see, a color palette similar to Dropbox, where every single bright color is part of their color palette, and you get lost in just a lot of nothing. But
yeah. I mean, I think you'd get a bit concerned if a champagne and that kind of realm sparkling wine company started introducing bright colours, because then you'd be like, all right, how much sugar's in this? How crazy am I going to get after I drink this? Like, what's going to happen to me? If you keep them muted, though, it really lines up with what you're actually drinking.
Yeah, that's true. I think you've got some good points there. So sounds like you're a bit more of a fan than I am, perhaps.
I probably fall into the demographic, though, so when I was looking at all the imagery, I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. Doesn't say a lot, and I probably wouldn't remember it if I wasn't looking at it deeply now, but I don't mind it.